a greater flow of it to happen so we can really, be aligned with it. And then, of course, you'll find it on your own within a breath. It's just a matter of time because you have to keep opening that space for that energy flow to move through you. And as that flow expands, without too much time, you can suddenly, and you can begin feeling that tingling through your body, that connects you back. And then as you allow yourself to become still, not only do you feel it physically, sensorially, you are connecting on that higher plane where it's beyond the mind and it's beyond the physical.
Great. Now, Marlise, you mentioned the simplicity of stillness method there, and I know for many people they're feeling their entire lives are shifting around in these times, and I was just wondering, with this method, is there contained within it, has it been designed for these times, or can you say a little bit about how these techniques can help people navigate what's actually happening in the world at the moment?
Yes, in that, we are at a very special time in the history of the world, and things are moving more quickly, and there's a lot of greater challenges, aren't there? Economic and just so many challenges happening in the world. And this energy, as it goes out and we experience it one by one, every person begins vibrating on a higher level. And as we vibrate on a higher level, it moves us into higher consciousness. And as we are all moving into higher consciousness, then we begin having solutions to how to deal with today's challenges, with climate, with bullying, with our personal lives, with finances, with the way things are running. So you can take it from the smallest unit of I, me, my world, and then you can expand it to the family unit and to the community and to the world at large.
Absolutely. Reminds me of the quote, I think it was from Einstein, that a problem can never actually be resolved at the level of consciousness it was created at. So I guess in these times of expanded awareness and consciousness, does a new solution set begin to emerge by using these techniques?
Yes. And what I see is, there are many people already moving along that journey and are already completely aware of all the shifts and changes that are happening in the world. And what I hear from people is that as they add this to their own practice, they experience a boost in their own practice. So they experience that energy, because many people come who've been meditating for a long time, and I say, don't change what you're doing. Just try on a new pair of shoes and see if you can add it to your wardrobe. So on some given day, you're going to play the Stillness Session CD and really enjoy that. You might play it on the way to work. You might play it, the sleep mix, as you're going to sleep at night. And then, you see what I'm saying? So you just add it to what you're doing and see how it begins to feel in your life. So it isn't about changing anything that you're doing per se. It's just about adding something and then continuing to flow with that. And I would say that in my world and what I've seen happen as my consciousness has expanded, initially it was like, okay, help the people of the world, but, what about me? But wait a minute, I need to pay my rent. And so I wasn't thinking so much of the world at large, and as I began to be able to drop away my own life's challenges, and the pain that I was living with, and the misconception of so much of what I was living with, then very naturally I found this love expanding inside me, and that began to include wanting to help and serve others. And that's what I see with so many people who've been doing this work. I can't even find anyone who, after a period of time, hasn't full on switched into how can I serve others, and has, in finding their own inner purpose, has begun doing that, whether it's just being that much greater of a mom, or whether it's going out in the world and, helping support the Maasai people, on the plains of Africa, which we have happening today too. So, I see it in the world of people who are making films, of, it just expands into everyone's world in the most simple way.
It's certainly been one of the big trends that I've seen emerging in the world over the last 10 years, that real desire to serve. And I guess with lots of people that are actually opening their consciousness and awakening to greater levels of awareness, that seems to be the natural direction that people move in. I guess there's the world of working in isolation and separation and competition and protection and all that kind of thing, and thinking that emerges out of that way of being. And then I guess when the walls come down and we see that we're not that separate from other human beings, on other places of the planet with different beliefs, different geography, different languages, I think that service quality does begin to emerge much more strongly.
It does. It does in an amazing way. I'll share a story with you in that. When I was traveling in Africa several years ago, it was one of those magical events in the middle of the night when the rains stopped my programs from happening, and we couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't get back to my lodge, and was invited to go to the village of my guide. And while I was there, the rain stopped, and he built a fire, and then announced to all the warriors sitting there that I would offer them a stillness session. And one man in particular got really ignited by the energy in a profound way. He said he felt his heart beating with such intensity. He was like, what is this energy pouring through me? And he came and asked if he could translate for me to the warriors. And then we became friends, and he told me that his dream was to become a balloon pilot so he could subsidize the clinic where he worked. And, I mean, that's a pretty big dream for someone living in the middle of Africa with no electricity, no running water. If you heard what he earned to birth a baby and put it against what it costs here, it's like, what? And he said in that moment that he experienced that energy, by the next day what he got is hope. All his hope came back. And did it happen overnight? No. In the next 3 years, there were upsets, political unrest in Kenya. There was a drought. There were so many things that happened. And we corresponded, and at the end of 3 years, he came to America. And he's here now, in fact. And his balloon school is between San Diego and Los Angeles. And so I went to be with him in the beginning, but I don't live in Los Angeles anymore. So I just opened the door and asked the universe to assist us and called a few friends, and it just like snowballed. And one friend told the next and the next and the next. And for 2 months, he has gone from one person's home to the next. He has spoken at UCLA. They're writing a story about him in the LA Times. He has gone to children's schools and talked to them about the Maasai. He has gone to, can you feel the light this human being is offering to all these people where he shows up? And that's what I see happening for every person. Every person is a light. And as we connect more to the light of who we truly are, then that light shines out more brightly, and we draw to us circumstances and events where we can be of support to others as well.
I think it's a beautiful takeaway for people. Every person is a light.
Yes.
Beautiful. Now, Marlise, I just wanted to give people a full understanding of the Simplicity of Stillness method, particularly if they haven't been exposed to it before. Now, you've mentioned stillness sessions as being an important part of that. Now, I was just wondering, are there any other key elements to the method that people need to be aware of?